Hey everyone, this is Chef Pete with Canyon Ranch Spa and Fitness at the fabulous Venetian Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today I'm going to give you some cooking advice about cooking at home during this quarantine time. We're going to show some immune boosters and some plant-based alternatives to our traditional egg scrambled dishes. So we're going to start with the egg frittata, and I'm going to use a product called Just Egg. Now this is in the grocery stores. It's in the plant-based ingredients aisle, and it's an isolated bean protein that scrambles up just like egg. It's delicious. So I use this at home. It's great for scrambled eggs, burritos, frittatas. We use this at Truth and Tonic at the Venetian Resort as well, and this is our main staple for our plant-based protein. So we're going to give you a quick demonstration. So this one I'm going to make with some onions, which has great anti-inflammatory properties to it. And then we're going to use some broccoli, and then on the side we're going to use a little kale and show a delicious way to present that. So with onions, I like to peel them, keep the root intact, and these are going to have great anti-inflammatory properties as well. So as we start to layer in all these different qualities of food and different things that are health benefits from, we'll really build up a very strong dish that's going to help our immune system, help fight off the diseases out there, the viruses. And we're going to start with a lot of clean ingredients, because if we're not using organic ingredients, anything with herbicides, pesticides, preservatives, chemical fertilizers, all those ingredients are really going to distract our immune system from its primary purpose. Our purpose is to fight off disease and infections, which is really what we want to do right now. So why not feed ourselves something that's going to not distract our immune system, but really strengthen it instead? So with these ingredients, we're going to do that. We're going to saute this with a little bit of avocado oil. And I like to use a Teflon pan for this. And the key thing about Teflon is that when it's nice and smooth, it's great. But when it starts to scratch, it can really affect our health. So as soon as it starts to get scratched and damaged, then those are when we throw it away and replace it. We're going to use a nice healthy fat with avocado oil. We'll start to saute our onions, and it's going to take about 10 minutes in the oven. So keeping that in mind, we want to make sure that we don't cut our onions too big. They're not going to cut in that amount of time. They're not going to cook. Then we're going to take our broccoli. Now, with our broccoli, we're going to save the stem, because later on I'm going to show you another recipe that is going to be a great way to use that up, so we're not wasting anything. So again, we're going to take the florets and we're going to cut them. Now the chlorophyll in the broccoli and the vitamins in the broccoli are going to be very healthy for us, and we're going to serve it in a fun way. Even the kids will enjoy it. So as we put on our broccoli there, now ingredients are really important to remember that, they started out as my preference, and these recipes are my preference. You might like a lot of broccoli, you might like a little bit of broccoli, you might want to omit it and sub something else. With these recipes, it's important to remember that you're both the author and the reader. So you're going to cook it and you're going to eat it, especially during quarantine time. So you want to do things that are enjoyable for you, that you really look forward to eating, look forward to cooking. Now you can see in my kitchen I've got all these great ingredients. So I like to surround myself with great ingredients that are beneficial for me. So that way, no matter what I grab and how I cook it, there's always something good that's coming out of it. And I omit the junk and I leave that out of it, so that when I'm putting things together, I can just use my creativity and just let it flow and not have to worry about being tied to a recipe and limiting myself because I don't have the certain ingredients. Use what you have on hand and use what's good for you, and surround yourself with things that you know that your body is going to need and benefit from. Now you might be concentrating on ingredients that are very good for our immune system. Later on, you might be trying to counteract obesity or diabetes or these other diseases that we want to kind of feed and work in our favor. And so we can do that knowing what these good ingredients. So again, we're going to save these, put those aside. Now with this egg, it already has some turmeric and pepper and mixed in with the bean protein itself. What I like to use for one portion is about four ounces. That's going to be 2 chicken eggs. So figure one chicken egg is about 1.7 ounces. 1 ounce for the white, 0.7 ounce for the yolk. So round that up to 2 ounces. So anywhere from a 2 to 4 ounce serving is going to be great. This is a 12 ounce bottle, so we can use about half of that. And you can see it's just like a scrambled egg ingredient. Now you got to keep it refrigerated, and then we're going to use our spatula and kind of get it cooking a little bit. So that way we can get the inside cooked a little bit faster and not have to wait for it to bake from all the way from the outside in. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. So with that, as it starts to cook, now I want to season it, and I add a little bit of salt to it, and I like to use a pink sea salt. And then I've got some cracked pepper. We're going to add that. Now, if you want to get a real chicken egg experience, you could find a black salt that's got a little bit of sulfur to it, and it's really going to replicate that egg product. And then the last thing is a little bit of turmeric, and we're going to give it one more stir. So about a quarter teaspoon of turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory, and mixing it with the cracked black pepper is going to make it 2,000 times more absorbable by our body. There's one thing that turmeric is really great for us and helps to fight a lot of things and improve our immune system, but our body just doesn't have an easy time absorbing it. So adding that pinch of black pepper is going to make it so much more absorbable by our body. We're really going to get those benefits from it, and we're going to get this baby in the oven. So we're going to let that bake all the way through. And while we're doing that, we've got some other ingredients here that we're going to mix. So with every cooked item, I like to have a fresh item on the side. So that way we get the fresh nutrients. We don't necessarily cook them to death. And we're going to use a few things. First of all, we're going to use tangerines, which have a lot of vitamin C. And they're great for also an alternative snack food because they are higher in sugar. They're a little bit sweeter. And that's going to help replace a lot of that junk food and the snack food and candy. Now, the thing, too, is that oranges take a little bit of time to peel. So you can't necessarily just shovel them in and really spike your blood sugar so fast because it's going to take a little bit more effort to get down to it and to eat it. Now, the other thing we're going to use is organic strawberries. Now, I wanted to highlight that as we're shopping for ingredients, there's two sections of the produce section. There's the organic, which a lot of people think looks the same as conventional, but it's just a little bit overpriced. And then there's the conventional. Now, the conventional ingredients is a very similar, but when tested, one single strawberry can have up to 17 different pesticides, chemicals, fertilizers on one beautiful little berry. So these are the things, there's 12 items that the EPA puts out and the EWG put out every year to show you the top 12 items, produce items that are organic, that are grown, that have the most toxins. And those are the ones that if you're gonna buy them, and strawberries is number one, if you're gonna buy strawberries, the idea is to buy those organic. They're less toxic. The other ingredients that don't make the list aren't quite as toxic, and you can get away with saving a little bit of money on conventionally grown produce. So let's say if tangerines weren't on the Dirty Dozen list, I could save money and buy these in the conventional section. And I'll still get the health benefits of the vitamin C. So we're gonna peel these, and what I like to do with these ingredients is work over a bowl. That keeps my cutting board clean. And when I select a cutting board, ideally what I want to do is work with a board that's a size where I can keep all these ingredients off my board. So that way it's only really food on the surface that's going on my board, and I'm not putting pans and hot pans and all that stuff on my cutting board as I work, and I keep my area as clean as possible. Now these beautiful tangerines just like to fall apart, so we're going to use these beautiful segments, take out the white pith, which can be a little bit bitter, and we're going to start to build our salad with that. Okay? Now I've washed my strawberries already. Very important, even with organic, you always want to wash them. Now, people might think that you could wash off chemicals and pesticides and preservatives and all that stuff that's sprayed on these fruits and vegetables. But I like to think about it, if you like a Chardonnay wine, you think about a California Chardonnay versus an Italian Chardonnay versus a French Chardonnay. It's all the same grape. However, the terroir, where it's grown, where the region it's from, the earth, everything in that atmosphere makes up the flavor. And it's the same way with produce. It's a product of its environment. So washing it and all that, when the chemicals are in there, it's at a cellular level. So it doesn't just go away. So you want to be cautious about what we're using and what we're spraying on it. So for these, we're going to dice them because they're nice and big. And we're going to build up our kale salad. And with the kale, you can buy them in a nice little pre-washed package, which I like to use because now the baby kale, we think about the beautiful kale that's always in like the meat section. It's used as a garnish, and it's very thick and heavy and waxy. It's not enjoyable to eat. But the baby kale and the power greens are much more delicate. They're softer. They've got beautiful color. They're a little bit sweeter. And we can use that to build some nutrients into our salad. Now, the chlorophyll is a great energy booster in the morning, so you can use these same things and puree it into your smoothie. In fact, you can use the oranges and the strawberries. You could use 40% fruit, or 60% fruit and 40% greens to build a smoothie. And you can use some almond milk, or you can use coconut water to liquefy it. And then the last thing, we're gonna add some healthy fats. So we're gonna use our avocado. That's nice and ripe. And when you touch them, you wanna feel like they got a little bit of give to them. If you feel like they could break your neighbor's window, let them sit on the counter for a little bit longer. About a quarter avocado is great for one serving. Half an avocado is good for another, for two. And then we're gonna scoop that out. Now, to make a dressing is very simple. If you have a nice, clean, delicious vinegar, I prefer to use an organic red wine vinegar for this. You just add a little bit to it. It's breakfast, it's not a dinner salad. So that acid, that light flavor is gonna help heighten all the other flavors that are in there. Again, we'll use a little bit of salt, a little bit of cracked pepper. If you want to add more healthy fats, you can. You can use a little bit more avocado oil. For me, personally think it's just fine the way it is. So, as we mix up our ingredients, you can see we've got the beautiful fresh oranges, the healthy fats, the avocado, the colorful chlorophyll, and all these things build up a great side dish to our main dish. So we're going to use, let's see, I'm just going to put some space. And then we'll build our salad around, and we'll get this ready to plate. So that way when our frittata comes out of the oven, you can see this didn't take much time at all, especially if you want to prep and have some salads ready. That way you always have something healthy to turn to, and you don't look for a meal. Now there's other great ways if you're going to have oatmeal in the morning, if you add some quinoa to it. The quinoa is a complete protein, so you can get the plant-based protein and then mix that into your oatmeal. Quinoa is a seed when it's cooked. It has a different texture to it that not everybody's a fan of. And so that incorporating that into an oatmeal is a great way to kind of mask that experience of just straight quinoa, but then you can also incorporate the plant-based protein because it has a lot of benefits for us. All right. So we've got our frittata, and we're going to serve that up. We're going to let it sit for a few more minutes and let that kind of go through it. And we're going to get ready for our next dish. So stay tuned, because if you like this recipe, and if you want to see some more, you can visit us at canyonranch.com, and you can see what my other colleagues are working on across the country. So what's growing in one area is different than another area, and we can see what's really seasonal and what's working for some different chefs. So again, you can visit canyonranch.com for this recipe and plenty more and see what we're cooking up. I can't wait to have breakfast. This is going to be great. We'll see y'all for lunch.